If I would break down everything I learned in business into 3 words, it would begin with awareness. And guys, just by the way you introduce yourself, this is how people get aware about you. Like, they learn about you the way you speak. Okay? So forget Instagram, forget the websites. You need to be able to address yourself or to explain yourself what you do. I lost millions. And this is no joke. I made millions, but I fucking lost millions, no joke, because I was a full-time idiot. I say that over and over again. I don't want no one of you thinking that I built different or that I made some genius moves. I didn't. I wasn't even able to speak English 10 years ago, I guess. I quit school very early. I was just very ambitious. I love what I do, and I always thought that everything is possible. And kind of, this is true. You will find out over time that whatever you think you're going to achieve, you kind of end up achieving it. What you can learn today is the biggest failure in business, when you run an actual business, is not having an actual goal. And I would argue that most people just have a financial goal. So now again, in our round of people, what is your actual goal in business?
A short-term goal and a long-term goal.
You tell me.
Short-term goal is end of 2026, 100k a month, able to live in, plan to get a, live abroad as well, and be able to put money aside every month in the investments. That's my short-term goal.
This is very vague. Let's try to be a bit more specific. Give us some numbers, metrics, like how much do you want to achieve next year?
100k a month.
100k. Cool, consistent. With what service? What do you do right now?
I think I mentioned you with the capital.
Cool. How are you going to do that?
The way that it'll work would be reaching out to people looking to raise capital, getting them in, helping them raise capital, charging them an engagement fee up front, and then taking a percentage of the capital you raise.
Cool. How much time did you actually spend the last weeks to plan that?
It's 3 weeks, all I'm done.
So you have a plan in place to do that?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you think you're going to achieve it?
Yeah.
How many percent you're certain? 100%? So you're 100% sure that you're going to achieve that in 12 months? Okay. Awareness was the first one, now it's clarity. If you would have to achieve that in 6 months, or something bad would happen to your life, could you do it?
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy? We set ourselves a goal for 12 months. And just by changing the circumstances, we find out he could do it in 6 months. What would be different?
Double the amount.
Well, double the amount. So the reason I'm doing that is not to showing you guys how easy it is to make someone struggle a little bit, but to show you all the mistakes that I did. I was not really good in explaining who I am or what my business actually was. I lost too much time not to understand that the goal is not financially driven. It's more like, how can you make a life where you feel so passionate about that you actually want to wake up the next day and say, I'm going to do that. And this is all about clarity. Raise your hands if you have a goal right now about what you want to achieve. Which of you, if it's a non-financial goal, keep up your hand. If it's a financial goal, take it down. Okay. What about you, sir?
Yes.
What is the goal?
We believe that enterprise software should just work, no bullshit.
Okay. What about you?
The biggest name in the sales space.
Cool. Oh, this is cool. I love that. Who of you guys is chasing a financial goal? Arms up again. Whose number is 1 million or above?
A year or a month?
I like you already, brother. Cool. Okay, tell us about your business, please.
Helping non-US residents access the US credit system.
What is your biggest struggle right now?
Hiring A players.
That's interesting. Who of you guys know their biggest struggle right now? The ratio is interesting, right? We think we know what we want. The mind let us believe that that's the truth. A number, status, whatever. But why is that we don't really think about our struggle that much? Because it requires a different action, okay? And the reason I'm saying that like an idiot in front of here is because I want you to understand every problem you're going to have in life or in business, I promise you to 100%, and you can take that to your private life, think about the past, it's either because of you lack awareness, or you don't have clarity, or you lack action. 100%. That's basic. Like, this is everything you need to understand for human dynamics. This sounds so basic, but I owned a company where we were selling therapy blankets for horses. I never was into horses or riding in general, so I realized the hard way that if you lack awareness about your actual business, you can have whatever clarity and action in place, but you won't make it if you are not aware of what you are actually doing. And this is probably for most of you the case, it was at least for me, most people operate always between awareness and action. We had the example that someone said, oh, I want to go to the gym, but I ended up not going. Or I want to take care of my diet, but I didn't do it. Most of us are aware that we didn't do it. And yes, we lack the action, but we barely find out why that is. I promise you, if you gain clarity about your biggest struggle right now, it's half of the rent. Imagine all of you could raise their hand saying, like, my biggest struggle, Chris, is A, B, C. Chances are high I could solve that together with you, or someone in the room could do it. Yet, most of us are driven by a number. So let's try to squeeze the most out of that and try to find out what the biggest struggle is. Let's start with you. What do you think is your biggest struggle in business?
Not having the right team in place to scale.
I love that. Cool. What about you?
I think my biggest struggle is my own limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs. Okay, cool. Do you have a limiting belief ready for me?
Just coming from small town Ireland, what we're shown, what we're used to growing up, your parents not having to pay rent, that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Let's double click on that for a second. So money is a limiting belief. Let's make it binary. Let's say a limiting belief is, and this is what I thought for a very long time that I need to work really hard to make a lot of money, which was actually not the case, because I found out, especially if you sell something online, you make money so quickly and it doesn't really feel like you spend a hard time to work for the money, if that makes sense. So I ended up feeling like an imposter. I thought like, oh my God, I just made 200,000 based on boop. And I thought that's not how the world works. So limiting belief is a good point. Whatever problem you're going to face is maybe a limiting belief. Maybe it's something related to the team, or let's try what else is. Casey.
It's my inconsistency.
Yeah, oh, I love that.
It's feeling stuck and falling into bad habits.
Strong, hey, thanks for sharing that. That means a lot. Can we get an applause for him, please? Because okay. I think my job is to over-deliver, so I share the same with you. I felt the same, and I felt horrible part-time when I was building a business. And maybe that resonates with you, Casey. I learned that carrying around responsibility without clarity is a hell of a feeling. So if you carry around the financial responsibility or whatever there is, that's the weight on your shoulders, and you don't know the direction and you don't know what to do next, this is going to eat you from the inside, so to say. But you can fix that. That's something that we actually could do today. But everything in your business right now is about direction. That's one of the things. So if you don't know the direction, and by the way, just the way you answered on your biggest struggle, let's assume you're a supercomputer. Or let's take AI, it's easy to understand. If I would prompt her struggle into ChatGPT, chances are high I don't get the solution like this. Because we need to be specific. If we can't explain the problem, how should we fix it? Let's take an easy example. I bet all of you could be crystal clear if you would be at your house and there is a fire breaking out. You would call, whatever the number is, to tell someone, I am here. My house is burning. It's really, really bad. Come, please, fast. If you are able to do that for your own life right now in business, Merry Christmas, guys. You just call any AI out there right now and you will get 10 of the best solutions ever. I couldn't deliver the information as good as AI can do it. So I need you to understand it's direction, execution, and reality. I sold over 5 companies. I say it again, I made millions. We are in the 9 figures in terms of turnover. I planned none of that. Everything happened because I tried to discover the next best step and went from there. And in our world, the industry was completely different, okay? So I haven't had YouTube the way you did. I haven't had no AI to figure out my next step. So the reason I started this way is to show you how much you lack the ability to, first of all, address the problem, not in a bad way. I am the same till today. It's still a struggle. But if you can't define what your struggle is, also in your private life, you will never fix it because you don't allow your mind to get out of that. It's so basic. I could stand here and talk about numbers, leaderships, and bullshit, but it brings you nothing. It would literally bring you nothing because you can learn all of that through all the given tools out there. And I went bankrupt almost 3 times. It's the challenge to do it one time. Trust me, to do it almost 3 times is a different thing. And that was not because I was, or maybe it was because I was an idiot, but it was most of the time because, let's assume all of us are becoming really, really successful. 10x, 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 right? Everyone is talking about 10x. What I learned the hard way is, and I struggle with that till today, let's take the flaws, your bad habits. Imagine I send a Netflix camera team with you, all of you, for 1 week straight. And now think about all the parts where you don't want the camera team to be around because you maybe think like, ooh, no, I don't want them to see that. This is where your biggest leverage is probably. And I don't say that you have to get rid of it. I just tell you guys that the difference between all of you on the table right now, whoever is going to make it next year, it will be the one, in case you love that you did that, who can call himself out the best way, so to say. If you can name your biggest flaws, you're going to see. My speech today is not going about to be success. It's not about my success. It's not about, hey, I sold a company for this, or I managed to get into a country. I'm going to tell you all my failures, all my mistakes. And I own that because it made me to a person that I'm today able to work with people like James. I want you to understand that this right now is a perfect chance for all of us to first of all test how good we are, like really as a group, but also to learn how to ask the right questions. So to make the most of the time, and I hope all of you join, I want to invite you to ask whatever question you want, either about business, either about life, because I just wrote it down. If you literally wrote down awareness, clarity, action, please do it if you have a notebook or a phone, plus direction, execution, and reality, you have everything you need that you can feed into ChatGPT to ask it based on your previous chats, hey, help me to identify my blind spots in terms of awareness, clarity, or action related to my business, direction, which is equal to goals, execution, which is your team, maybe the way your business performs, or reality. I can already spoil you guys. My biggest mistake was I didn't spend time in the reality that much. I was ignoring my numbers for almost 10 years. I was a millionaire already, but I was ignoring my numbers full time. And you're gonna learn later why that was a huge problem, because even if you are successful, even if you achieve everything you want to achieve, yeah, life goes on, trust me. And you 10x not only your success, you 10x also everything that's unseen, below the surface, so to say. I believe that we are going to enter a world that is so unique that overnight success is not possible. It's so likely to happen because the time between I have an idea and me executing on it and me distributing it is going to collapse in real time. You can build everything you want already with tools like Lovable, Cursor. The better you are in applying your knowledge to today's reality, the more likely you are to make a big time success. So let's start with Q&A. You can ask me anything you want. There's nothing I'm not willing to talk about. And yes, you go first.
So over the past 12 years, right?
Yes.
If you look back in hindsight over the times you made the most success,
Yeah.
what was the most consistent thing in your life, how you were operating that was happening then? I hope that's a...
Yeah, I can answer that. I was on drugs most of the time. I tell you, I was drinking, I was partying, and I thought that's okay because I was still doing business the right way. So my inconsistency was my biggest consistency, so to say, right? And to answer the question so that it's useful for you, I hope you feel the same, but I always thought it's possible. Whatever it is, I irrationally believed I can do that. I didn't care if someone told me, no, you can't. No, don't do it. I did it. I just did it. And I didn't care if I failed or not. And I had, with a few of you, I already had some contact, and I want to point at Val one more time because the first time we talked was like a 2-hour conversation on Zoom. And I think it's, especially for young guys like you have all the opportunities. I'm sorry to say that if you're successful today, I don't really care. It's not that difficult, it's no hack anymore. It's like, I expect you to be kind of successful. But here's the question. If you never define what success means to you, you will never achieve it. I, by myself, for a long time, I felt like, I'm unsuccessful. I'm not really successful. And I wasn't making millions, like flying through the world, but I always felt like I'm not successful. And here's an easy way to overcome this, okay? I learned that if you feel like you're not successful, it's purely because you never defined what success means to you. So maybe you, my bro, what means success to you?
I think with where I'm at right now, it would honestly be like systemizing everything so that I actually have some form of like life enjoyment mixed in. So that's like the goal of this. It's like 200K a month, like personal, and then it's more scaling my personal brand to facilitate like a level of like freedom within it.
Now, imagine the next time you're sitting somewhere and you ask yourself, am I successful? Do you think your mind can work with that in a binary way to say, yes, I am, or yes, I'm not? Probably not, because I was the same. I was so complex in the way of, success means to me, impossible to achieve. And here's the hack on how to solve that, and I do that till today. If you take success and you describe it in 3 different words, except the word success, you get closer to the feeling of being successful. So, let's start with you. Give me one word that defines success for you.
Freedom.
Oh, I love that. You, next one.
Family.
Oh, 100%. You.
Contentment.
Contentment. It's cool. I love that. Could be mine. Freedom, contentment, family. Who resonates with that? Raise your arms. Woo, look, we just defined what success means for us. And now I ask you, how much do you do every day actually to spend on being aware, awareness, clarity, action, if you get closer to the feeling of freedom or not?
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. Isn't this crazy? And let that sink. We want to be successful. We want to achieve something, but we don't spend time to actually do and feel it. But why is that? Because we let someone else tell us what success truly means. It's social media telling us number X, achievement Y, doing this, doing that. It's not your success, it's someone else's success. But if you sit down every day to define just one thing, one action that you could do every day to feel like getting closer to freedom, then you would by default every day getting closer to
The goal.
yeah. This is literally it. This is how I build all my business. In figuring out myself first. You guys use language to talk, so your mind uses language to work with that. But if you never make sure to associate the right meaning to it, you are not going to make it. I'm sorry. What happens if I, let's say, try to be more free every day? I gain the clarity to say, okay, I just want to have half an hour per day, me time. And then I try to turn it into action daily. So I try to block 30 minutes every day to feel like I am free. What happens is, and this is very easy to understand, guys. If you now live by that, every day, then let's say you have this baseline, which is your internal feeling of freedom. What happens if I now say, oh, I want to take 30 minutes for myself, but I don't do it? I skip it. Someone called it micro losses, right? Okay. Let's say I do it. I'm now off of my actual baseline. The next day I do it again. I'm even more off. And now leverage 10x. At one point, you are so far away from your baseline, and you will throw money at people to help you to feel free again or successful. But you betrayed yourself in first place. So the solution and the answer is always inside of you. Whoever of you have been in or has been in a relationship that was not feeling right probably went the same way. Let's take respect. If we would define what success or respect means to us in 3 words, then you're going to find out, and you can do that as a homework, how often per day you compromise your own definition of something that is so important for you. Okay? So therefore the question to answer that, I was a full-time expert in being misaligned to my core values. I was lying to myself, and I was literally avoiding the truth, because it's either the truth behind the lie or the lie behind the truth. And I was fucking rich while I did it. And I don't want to show off, I don't want to flex here, but I was really hyper successful. Money didn't solve it, not at all. It actually amplified all my flaws. So all of a sudden I had the money to fly around the world to do party and invite a bunch of people that were so misaligned to my values, but somehow I made it to my default model per day. And I want you to understand, the reason why I love James so much, and I can say that, brother, I love you. Literally, I would do everything for you, brother. It's because we are so aligned to what respect is and connection. And I know that the first time at the A-Player event, I was talking about my past the first time. I get goosebumps when I say that. And I could stand in front of all of you talking about a success and how to make millions and using this framework and doing that. But it's a lie. Because success starts here. If you don't understand yourself, you scale insecurity. You scale a weak foundation, and this is what I did. And I'm lucky that I'm here today for some reason, because I did so many things that are like literally so hardcore at the edge that it took me too long to realize this. So if we take this class right now, and I love that all of you are here, you need to understand that whatever problem I faced in the consulting life, M&A life, business, whatever it is, it was always awareness, clarity, action. Chances are high that between your desired outcome or the desired relationship or your desired life, right now and the moment when this is going to happen, it's just one decision. This sounds so weird, but most of the time it's just one conversation that you need with someone else or yourself to fix that. We just found out that you could get to your goals in like half of the time. Yet you said you spent 3 weeks working on the plan, correct? Yes. So you spent 3 weeks on how to fill 12 months next year, while you actually could do it in 6 months. And I'm not blaming you. I was the same. I said in the beginning, I was selling horse therapy blankets at one point. Do I want to do that? No. I just thought it's cool to have multiple business and being an investor, right? So therefore, I want you to understand that the magic, especially in the next years, will be in connections, like the people you connect to. And again, Casey, I give you credits again. It's also about how you share what's going on in your internal world with others, so that they either can help you or support you getting closer to a solution, right? Did I expect it to be together with young guys in the room that make like a big time amount of money? You guys are filthy rich compared to what I was with 20. I was far away from doing 20,000 per month, right? So your generation, all of you, do have an entirely different challenge compared to anyone before. I would argue that you are the ones who are most fucked, so to say. I'm sorry to say that. Because you have all the opportunities. All of them. Every day you just open Instagram, whatever, new AI tool, new idea, new this, new that. So the skill to make a decision on what to do is fucking hardcore because no one has the experience on what to do, given the fact that there are so many opportunities that you are exposed to by everyday chance. So to squeeze the max, how much do we have left?
Just like 2 or 3 minutes. But what you said is so important. Like the number one word we always talk about is discernment. One of the speakers said to me a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about new ideas and strategy, etc. And he said, James, everything looks like an opportunity when you have no strategy. And I think like with all these AI tools and everything that comes in, it's like everything can stray you away from your goals so consistently. And as you said, it comes away from your baseline. And it's having the fortitude to just have in your mind your goal and be willing to see these distractions, acknowledge they're there, but not accept all of them. So yeah, what you're saying, discernment is everything.
And I tell you, it's a lot of truth in the fact that if you have a goal in place or your values, let's take values, okay? You said family. I promise you, no matter who you're gonna ask, let's say parents, whatever, they know intrinsically what to do to defend the value of, let's say, family or to act accordingly to it. It's easy to say no or yes to something if it's so obvious, if it helps you or not. Yet in business, we are tempted to say yes to everything. So we're ending up saying no to what we actually want. And this is why I want you to understand I am different when it comes to business. And I would argue, even if I lose everything tomorrow, I know I will be at the same point less than a year ago. Because all I need to do is to apply to the given market right now. And by the way, I think the business, like the info space in itself, selling in itself, the only job most of the time is if you sell something that the other person don't feel like they make a huge mistake. Or the person wants to feel like what I'm about to do, I make a right decision here, to spend my money, to go with you, to make a decision to decide for you. So if you ask me about the dynamics of business, the faster you are in applying your vision to your daily actions, the faster you will find out where you are misaligned every day to do that. And sometimes it's so simple to just double down the amount of time you're going to spend on to work on that. And sometimes it's just facing the truth that you didn't figure it out yet. So let me tell you, all of you listening right now, if some of the things I just said resonate with you, then you're a human being. It's totally normal. It's normal to not knowing what's going to be next. It's normal to feel like you are not successful. It's totally normal to listen to someone who said, oh, I was on drugs for most of the time and still feel like, oh, this could be valuable. But at the end of the day, it's on you to apply at least one of those things to your life. So if you want to know my secret, I think it's, I never stopped being a kid, but I took care of myself of not making bad decisions along the way. I wake up and I think everything is possible. But I'm also mature enough to understand that I also need to act like that. Because everything else is just illusion, right? So let's use the last 4 to 3 minutes for some more questions.
You talked about failures a lot.
Yes.
And what is like, in your opinion, your biggest failure or mistake in business?
To pretend not to know. My biggest mistake was to pretend not to know. And again, I get goosebumps. I can't stop. I promise I will be so nervous on stage. I will be so nervous on stage because it's literally my life. I pretend not to know for too long. And somehow you get good in fixing your mistakes along the way. And you start to believe that this is you being a grinder, fixing your flaws that shouldn't even be there in first place. So yeah, I think this is one of them. Next one. Oh, wow. Okay, yo.
What's the biggest mindset shift you have from having kids?
That there is something to die for. It's not about you anymore. I would die for my kids like everyone else, I guess. And so therefore you get out of this survival founder identity and more like you focus on something bigger. Yeah.
So you know when you said you were like making loads of money, right?
Yep.
Was money your goal?
Yeah, actually it was. I wanted to make $1 million.
So were you not happy then? Did you not feel happy?
No, because then I wanted to make more money because I was stupid. I thought I was like, I wanted to have $1 million. So I achieved $1 million and I thought, oh, you are very stupid because if 1 million was so easy, probably you should go for 10 million. And from there you go to 50, 100, 300, never ends. Yep.
You spoke about earlier how important taking the next step, but the right next step.
Yes, sir.
How do you get full clarity on taking the right next step?
Great question. Awareness, clarity, action. I preached it in the beginning. If you are aware of what is important for you and you are clear on how to execute on that every day, then it's all about the action and the misalignment. Misalignment is your compass, 100%.
What was your catalyst for change? You talk about living a general lifestyle. What inspired that change?
Okay, I believe, and I think women are a little bit smarter compared to men, but I feel like most men only learn things the hardest way possible. I was really stupid to realize, it took me very long. I needed to learn it the most hardest way. I had some signals earlier to change and to get active on like getting rid of my flaws, but I needed to learn it the very, very hard way. And I think the faster you can admit that something is not going the right way, misalignment, you can change it.
If something like God awful were to happen, how would you rationalize?
So let's say someone dies or something like this, or? First of all, it's my job to take responsibility. So people rely on me, so I deal with that by myself. Life is very binary. Life is not fair. Life is only fair if I expect that I'm a child and someone is going to take care of me. So there is nothing horrible. I expect that bad things are going to happen to my life. This is life. So me sitting there and crying and being angry, mad about it, it's not working. I don't say don't cry. I just say, most of you guys have to take responsibilities for a lot of people in your life, right? So unfortunately, we are the first line of defense when shit hits the fan. So I sit down and understand what happens. I allow myself to be to feel it. There was a time when my mother had a stroke. And I was in the hospital, and she didn't realize who I was anymore. But she was still healthy, so to say, but she had no memory. And I went home and I cried, and this is 8 years ago, I don't know, 10. Because I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that someone that I shared my entire childhood with can't remember that anymore. And I felt like now it's only me. I'm the only person remembering what my childhood was about. So I cried, and it was good that I cried because I felt like I could let it go. But then I also realized I can't change it, but I can change the way I behave or I act accordingly to that. So most of the time it's a lot about accepting the truth and to understand what you can change, what you can't change. Last word, bro.
How do you deal with sacrifice?
So kind of life-work balance?
Yeah.
Or what is a sacrifice that you made lately because of something?
It's a decision around, it involves family.
Okay, so I would say if you are about to go big time in life and if you're ambitious to accomplish something that it's worth having sacrifice for, it's all about how dedicated you are to literally make the goal come true, because it's not easy. If it would be easy, everyone would do it. So it's your job to take care that whenever you sacrifice something, make sure that it's, first of all, worth it, but also that I realized and I learned in life, the more you are aware of your path, then you don't really have to make that much sacrifice, because it's kind of obvious to include the elements that are important to be part of the journey. Here's my sweet partner, so she's here, and while doing a business trip, I take her with me. There's Nico, my creative director. He's also a huge friend of mine. So I merge my vision and journey with people that I love and care about. And I'm here because of James. I really am a big time supporter of James and A Players. If you're not into A Players right now, make sure you go to A Players. It's the best thing. If I would be young again, 20, 25, I would wish I would be surrounded by people like him. And I can't speak for all A Players, but I can speak for James. And I was with him, we were in Dubai lately, we spent a lot of time. He has the right on his heart, on the right place. I never saw him being misaligned to his core values. Never. Which is really rare. Who else? Bro.
How do you find the right life partner or woman in your life, and what role does that play in your success?
Very good question. You will never find the right partner if you lie about not being the right partner too, so to say. So if you are not the right partner first, you can't attract the right partner. I still was drinking and doing hedonistic shit back then, and I stopped most of the things purely because I wanted to be the best version of myself. And I think you need to find someone who keeps you accountable, yes, but I think you said it before, making someone feel safe. By the way, this is James' mom. Clap from James' mom. Do it. Yeah. And if you now ask me, and I think all men can relate to that, if you are with a girl or woman, and this person makes you feel safe, that you feel safe being around her from an inside feeling, you can't buy that. If someone has this impact on you, you feel like this is the right person to be with, and especially if you talk about your dreams, if you talk about your ambitions, if you can be you next to your partner and you don't feel like the person is just with you for some other reasons, but it's a lot about yourself and also respecting that and showing up, to be honest. I think as a man you have some responsibilities, especially as a father. And I don't know, I'm very straight here. The time when I was drinking was the most stupid thing I could do. It was literally not beneficial for nothing that I do. And I think being honest to myself was a huge deal with it, because I feel like especially women have a good radar on people, like especially men, like if they are aligned or not. They realize fast if someone is just talking or if they literally walk the walk, so to say. So and therefore it's all about, I think, the feeling of being the right person first. And then of course you need to be somehow lucky to find someone like I did.
All right, guys. I think that's us done. Yes.
I hope you got some value from that, guys. Thanks. Thank you, bro.
Guys, thank you so much to Christian. Another round of applause for you.
Thank you.